Yo, what's going on with it once again? People, humanity, bros, women, fanboys, and fangirls, and as always, I'll talk as Nick Kickamoys out there. This is Mr. Nintendo Sony Free 2011, aka Manuel Wolverine. Of course, you guys are wrestling interest, not just towards the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all the other good stuff. Links down below. Anyways, before I get to begin, you can probably skip the first 6 or 10 minutes of this video. I'm just going to be talking about a few updates and not really say about plans for the channel. It's another thing I was talking about earlier. I was actually thinking about it before I was even doing this video because sometimes I have a really bad habit of losing my trains of thoughts. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna say it's how I was born. It's just the bad shitty luck of life that it held down to me. Anyways, or passed down to me. Where do I even begin? Before I begin, I know a lot of people, actually people I usually watch most of the time, either like Tim Pool or Jeremy Hambley, aka The Quartering. I've talked about that dude's channel a couple times. I know a lot of people hate the shit out of these two guys, and that's okay. I'm totally alright with that, but you know, there's some things I'll agree with and I'll disagree with what they say on their channel. I'm not gonna say especially with the whole wokeness of get woke, go broke. That whole thing I really don't believe in. I believe in my own personal, and that's not even me offending the SJWs. If you've seen a lot of my article session, news reviews, or a lot of video game anime, not reviews, but a lot of my article story videos that I usually not put together, because I put no time and effort in this shit. It's usually a 15-minute thing. I'll say what's ever on the top of my head and boom, that's it. That's usually how I operate when it comes to making videos and shit. But I don't take days or weeks to try to write a script or try to act. I don't want to say act fake or anything, because I know a lot of these other bigger YouTubers that they do this for a full-time job. I mean, if I had to consider myself a YouTuber, I'm not a professional because I already have an IRL job. I know I'm pointing by there. Should be pointing out there because that's where the window is. Over there. If you guys know me for a couple of years already, you know I've been working at SoCal's Casino Drive for about several good years. Very good ass pay. Might have to, I don't really want to do it because I know me and my boss were friends for levels. We're almost in a way, brothers in a way, because we have a lot of the same views off stuff, and we've talked to each other a few times off the job force and stuff. We do got a lot of the same views and stuff. We don't like SJWs. We don't like, people that are third wave feminists and they gotta fucking think everything's so bad and they get offended of shit nowadays. Like I said before, I'll say it again. It's been good 12 plus years the last time I even got offended by anything. And when it comes down to I know it's a real touchy subject. I know I don't really talk about it a lot on the channel. I brought it up a few times here and there, but that's not what the main premises of what my channel's about. It's usually about anime, video game news. It's been like that for 3 years now. But next year I want to try to change that. I might start doing it at the end of this year in 2019, as you can tell, because I'm doing a reaction video. It's been 3 years since I did anything that was a dead battle thing. I know I used to get a lot more views at that time. And I don't just do this stuff for views, let alone money. I don't make a dime off of this shit at all, period, like some other YouTubers would. So I'm not here begging, oh, please go to my Patreon, because me personally, I don't really have that much talent IRL. So I mean, yeah, I know some people that don't have talents, they'll say, oh, if you want to talk to me, this is the thing I don't like about Patreon. I know I could get into a whole video on it. Long story short, I think it's a little scummy for some people. If they're going to have a Patreon account, in my own personal opinion, at least have some sort of talent or skill on there. You know how they do for DeviantArt, places like that? If you want somebody to have a really good-ass commission for you, if you want them to create a really professional-looking OC for your channel, I can see why you want that for a Patreon. Or something like that. Especially if I don't know, I guess they want to be an up and coming inspirational music artist or inspirational actor or director or any of that shit, I get why they would want to do that. That's totally fine with me too. I'm totally 110% freaking okay with that shit. But there's that, or if they want to be I don't know. Or if they really want to get back to society, the whole thing, I think that whole 100 million plus tree challenge where people are trying to donate this thing to I don't know who the company or nonprofit organization that came up to Mr. Beast and told him to do this sort of challenge, because I know there's 2 other big YouTubers. I don't even know if they're big anymore. I know one's still really big, which is of course Felix PewDiePie, and then the other one, which is Markiplier. I'm not sure if he's even a thing anymore. He still might be. I don't know. And then a couple other big giant gaming YouTube channels. Even some of the people that I'm subscribed to, the ones that are in Pokemon Go especially, I don't know why that always happens. Zoe Two Dots, Pokemon Master Holly, Reversal. I'm not sub to him, but they always talk about them in their certain videos because they're kind of like a little hook or a click together. It's like, in a way, like I said before a couple of years ago, YouTube, in a way, it's like kind of be. I know some people are gonna they're gonna put a lot of flack on me for this shit, but yeah, it's kind of like being in high school again. You hang out with certain individuals that have the same, they had the same like mindset. They have the same mindset. They have the same viewpoints about life like you do personally. It's like some people I got a 110% total understanding of what they're about. Kind of. When they're off camera, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Hell, for all I know, they could be fucking breaking the law and hurting somebody. Which, God forbid that ever happens. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. But I've seen a couple of YouTube videos about some of them. They get arrested by the cops and they end up going to prison. And they fuck up. It sucks. Hopefully that never happens to me. I don't think it will. Ain't the only way that would happen to me. As far as I don't want to make this video darker because it is supposed to be about reaction. I should have been doing it a while ago. I know that. But like I said, skip the first 6 to 12 minutes because I'm going to go a little bit, not on a rant per se. Just how I view the point of the world, you know? Excuse me. Like just the other day, I was going to make a video about this. I may or may not still, but YouTube is going to make it a lot more difficult. Actually, no, I did talk about it before, but I only talked about it like briefly though. YouTube is going to be making a couple changes, especially if any of you guys are like family-friendly channels and even parents out there, they're younger parents, not really older parents, maybe in their 20s or 30s that have kids. You like showing your child off in front of the camera. That's probably going to be changing next year. And it's going to be for the worse because with the YouTube algorithm system or just the YouTube company in general, I'm not sure if it's all Susan Wojcicki's fault. It might be some of the YouTube developer people that are in that studio and that sort of sphere that have 10, 20 million subscribers. Those are the only ones that really give a shit about at the end of the day. They're not going to care if somebody that has almost 800 subscribers like me. They could give a rat's ass about somebody like me. I'll tell you that right now. I know that for a fact. That's not even putting myself down either. That's just unfortunate. That's fact. If you don't have at least 100,000 or a million plus subscribers on this, not channel, but in this platform, they don't give a shit about you. You're done. You're trash to them. They don't give a fuck. But if you do, oh yeah, they'll probably kiss your ass and they'll suck your dick a little bit, pretty much. They will do that. I was like, oh yeah, we'll have special things for you, special treatment for you, like the whole thing last year. Best example I could give, the whole thing with Logan Paul. Like 5-6 months later, a couple months later, like I think early, like April or May of this year, 2019, or no, I think it was late 2018 when it happened, because I think it was December 31st when it happened, 2017, and early 2018 last year is when the whole debacle thing about him with the Japanese suicide force and shit, it went down. Boom. Shit like exploded all over the internet when that shit happened. Even a lot of mainstream media news was talking about it. That's how big of a reach this dude Logan Paul still has. And he still recovered. I think he had like 25, 26 million subscribers. Only went down to 18, 19 million. So he didn't really lose that many. He's still making a shitload of money. That right there is probably the best special treatment that they'll give somebody on this platform. And it's funny because PewDiePie has like, I think 103 million subscribers. At that time, I think he had 75 or 80 million subs, which is still a lot. But I'm just saying, it just goes to show you. And then it's like the whole, it's a lot of things that you kind of got to put in consideration. The main headquarters, obviously, California. A lot of places like LA, San Diego. I'm not saying anything. Everyone in California has this fakeness of a mindset. I should know, since I live over here in Vegas. Like, a lot of people usually come from California to move out here. And some of them, I'm not going to lie, that I work with, yeah, they were born and raised out in Cali. I know not every motherfucker that's born in Cali, like, is a fake piece of shit. I know some are real, genuine, nice-ass people. I get that shit. That's like where I came from. Not New York City, but like in the boroughs area of Harlem. I think Harlem should be one of the boroughs of New York City, but if it's not, whatever. It's a rough and fucking tough place to grow up in the environment. I'm not going to get too much from my personal life away. I grew up in a very, like, lower class, very poor project area, but I didn't become a part of my environment, if that makes sense. If anybody that's, like, not trying to make this a race thing, because there was a few black people I was chill with back in the day when I was a 90s kid, and others were fucking assholes, you know? That's just how the way the world works. But I will say this, some were complete dickheads, and some were really, really cool shit with me, you know? That's just how the way life is. I don't know, just the vibe of certain places, as far as the United States go, because I never lived anywhere else besides the United States. I mean, I've been to Canada a few times when I was living up there in upstate New York before I moved to Vegas out here. And then I went to Mexico maybe like 4 or 5 times over my life. The lifestyle over there, holy fuck. I will say this, it's a fuckload different compared to the United States. And even though, granted, there were a few times where, yes, I kind of went through a lot of racial discrimination. Not like anything the third wave SJWs saying, oh, everything's offended, unfair, you know. Even though, granted, I came from a dumbass millennial generation, but At the same time, I don't really act like it. You won't ever see me go to a Starbucks. That's for damn fucking sure. If you knew my IRL, you wouldn't see me do that. You wouldn't see me talking about this climate change shit. It's my own personal opinion. That shit is fake. It's not real. I know some people are gonna hate me for saying that, but it is true. Look it up in the research. Don't even use Google anymore. Use another thing. It's called DuckDuckGo. I'm not getting sponsored or pay for any of these guys. I'm not shilling out for DuckDuckGo, but it is a million times better than Google. They don't like spy on your privacy or any of that fucking shit like how Google does. That's what I don't like about Google anymore. I like the old school Google better than the new one. But anyways, yeah. Oh, one other thing. Let's get into the light side thing. I know some SJWs are going to think, oh, you're really an SJW male fan. No, I'm not. I never have been and I never will be. But I saw the movie. I had a couple problems with it. But at the same time, it had a lot of action and adventure. Arnold Schwarzenegger still made the appearance, which I was hoping that he would, and he did, thank God. I know he was going to be in the movie because I saw it actually 2 times because that's how good the movie was, in my opinion. I know some people, old school Terminator fans, and I'm an old school Terminator fan, don't get me wrong, even though I wasn't born until 1989. The second one I saw a couple of years later when I got a little older and was like 9, 10 years old in the 90s. And then I saw like Terminator Judgment Day. That one was really good. I know some people like to shit on Terminator Salvation and Genesis. In my own personal opinion, the 2009 version of Terminator Salvation, it was a little bit better than Genesis. Genesis was alright. I feel like the story was like all over the fucking place, but it was still good. It was okay. The action adventure never fails, thank God. But well, this one, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad they brought this chick back, to be honest with you. Linda Hamilton, I think that's what her name was. The one that was in the original Terminator one. I even got this free poster thing that they were getting too. That shit was pretty kick-ass. I might mount this somewhere because this bitch was a fucking badass, man. And I saw the original ones in the 80s. I'm not gonna lie. If I would have been in the 80s, right now I'd probably be 56 years old probably instead of 30. But I'd be a way fucking older. I wouldn't be a 90s kid. I probably would have been a 70s, 80s kid or something instead. Yeah, she was kick fucking ass. This bitch was one you don't want to fuck around with. She was fucking awesome, man. Her performance, Linda Hamilton, I know you're never going to watch this, but you fucking owned that shit. You were a badass, man. I loved it. As far as the other chick that kind of looked like, I know her name, I think in real life, is supposed to be Mackenzie something. She looked like a lot of that SJW type of shit, Brie Larson. I didn't like that whole thing. I was like, oh, you're not going to have a baby, Sophia. I think her name was Sophia or Linda or something. It was a Latina chick, which was cool as fuck. Because as you know, I am Mexican Puerto Rican, but that doesn't mean, oh, just because they're Hispanic, I got to give them special treatment. Sometimes at that time, when I was a teenager, I kind of was guilty of that. I will admit that for a fact. I was very guilty for that shit. And again, I was going through a lot of personal life shit, which I'm not going to say on the internet, because I like to be anonymous with certain stuff like that. It was cool, but then it sucked with that whole thing. Oh, you are the future. The girls are so. This is like some more SJW propaganda shit that we're putting in. There was a lot of extra propaganda that was in there. It does suck. Because as most of you people know, I'm still part of that truther community that likes to do like exposés on certain things. I'll do it on different forms. I'm not going to ever do it here on YouTube ever again. I did it like 4 years ago. I stopped because, especially nowadays, you really can't talk about certain things like that. If you want to know more about that, either subscribe to these dudes like RFB, Enter the Stars, or Mr. KJ Osborne. I'm not going to say his whole thing because he's been stuck at almost 500,000 subs and he hasn't got nothing. So yeah, I do believe like the world in real life, it is run by some evil secret society organization. In my opinion, I could be wrong on it. I feel like my gut feeling, no, it's right. I've seen how this world gets every year. It gets more and more fucked up. Mentally, emotionally. You see it on Twitter. Sometimes you see it on Instagram. You see it more on Twitter. I don't know. It's just mentally, this whole world's fucked up. In my opinion. I don't really follow the crowd. I like to do my own personal solo thing. You know? I'm not saying I know better than everyone else, but I know some of my subscribers are going to disagree with that, but yeah, a lot of the shit you see, like, literally just the other last week, I didn't see this, but there was like I know there's cameras all over the place. They even said that in the Terminator movie, like right here, Dark Fate. They said that you can't go nowhere without having a smartphone or a GPS tracking device system always spying on you. And I got what they were freaking saying there. Like, yeah, you know, it's a fantasy. I know it could argue with Skynet. It's fake. It's not real, but if I had to say there was a real-life version of Skynet in the next few years that will take over the world, if robots ever do take over the world, it's going to be a bitch. I'm going to be long gone in Canada in the woods somewhere, that's for sure. I ain't going to be here anymore. But, yeah, it's probably either going to be one of these $5 billion companies that are technology companies. It's going to be Google, Microsoft, Apple, maybe Amazon, depends. Or that other one, the one that Elon Musk, I'm not sure if he's still CEO of Tesla. Any of these technology futuristic companies, I feel like they're probably going to make some sort of technology. I'm going to sound fucking crazy for saying this, but I truly sort of believe, kind of sort of, it may or may not happen during my lifetime. It happened hundreds of years from now instead of like 5-10 years from now. I think it's going to be 5 or 10 years from now, in my own opinion. I have been wrong. But look at Japan. Look at all the fucking shit that they have over there. I know I love anime. I love manga. I'm about to do something anime related and react to it, but it shit's crazy. Honestly, it is. There's already robot things. They're not taking over the world yet. They are around. They're just in their little baby steps. Another 5-10 years from now, I have a feeling they're not going to enslave humanity. I think they're just going to put them under like a enchanted spell or something. Like, I don't really believe in that whole thing. Just like, I know I'm going to get flat for Zoe 2 Dots, but girl, I think you have to wake the fuck up. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shit on LGBTQI and all that, but like she was saying the Pokemon Go thing, I knew this for a couple months already. I thought Blanche was like a girl the whole time, and it ended up being like, it's an it. I mean, it kind of makes sense that it's an it's not a real person. They say Sparky and Candela, one is from Team, not Team Mystic, Team Valor, and then the other one, I forget what it's called, Instinct. They say that fucking, what's it called? That's a boy and that's a girl. This whole other terminology is like they, them, it, she, us, and our. I kind of don't believe in that. It sounds a little bit weird to me. I know some people are going to get offended by that, but like I said, I don't really get offended about shit. You guys do. You just got to grow some thick skin. I'm just saying. Last but not least, yeah, she said something I kind of disagree with. I don't hate her for it, but she's got to wake up for that crap, man. Because AR and VR technology in another 3 to 5 years, maybe even 10 years from now, it's going to suck up a lot of people's life in real life. They might not even want to go outside in real life anymore. That's a sad thing, but it's true. But, yeah, I disagree with that part. The whole Blanche, it's supposed to be non-binary. It's supposed to have a gender-neutral, gender fluidity. I don't believe in that stuff, and that's not me being religious. And this is coming from someone that did come in a very strictly religious household, too. So I know what the fuck that's like. Oh, being in 2 parents that was a Bible thumper, you know. They weren't really Bible thumpers per se, but they were almost on that sort of level of Bible thumpers, almost. And it was a bitch. Honestly, it was. Thank God I wasn't gay, because if I would have been gay, and I'm not trying to shit on LGBTQ, I think they honestly would have physically assaulted me, or I probably would have had to get out at 15, 16 years old instead of like 18. And that would have sucked. But enough of that bullshit. Let's get onto this thing. Hopefully this thing's still recording, because if not, alright, it is. Alright, 3, 2, 1, let's get it in. Hopefully I'm going to strike for this. Death battle. Let's go. Hopefully this works. It's the chick from One Punch Man. I think her name is Tatsumaki. I still haven't watched this mob psycho thing either.
I'm lost.
What are you doing, dummy? Get out of here.
Can you help me? Do you go to the middle school here?
Middle school? Know your place.
A VA. I don't know that much about Mob Psycho, so I just know...
You shouldn't use your powers on others.
You think you're impressive? I'll crush you in 5 seconds flat!
By the way, just so you know, this is your fault.
should pay more attention.
Oh, shit. He put her arm back in place. I thought that was going to be dead forever.
Nobody beats me.
Oh.
KO! Whoa, that was crazy! I thought for sure Mob would win with his sucking power.
This was an incredibly close match. Honestly, if we were to run through this fight 100 more times, Mob could reasonably win 40 or so of them.
But we're not here to find out who wins 40% of the time. Mob had tons of awesome abilities, which gave Tatsumaki a hard time. But she still had the stuff to pull off a win more times than not.
Right. First of all, Tatsumaki had a notable advantage when it came to training and experience.
She's a top-ranked superhero who was trained from 7 years old, fighting a middle schooler who never wanted to use his powers in the first place.
She was faster too, given her reaction against Boros' bullets moving over 617,000 meters per second.
Sure, Mob reacted to friggin' lightning, but believe it or not, that's still technically slower.
See, a lightning bolt technically has two different speeds to consider. First for the slower liter of ionized air going down, and second for the faster flash going up. Given that Mob was reacting to a projectile moving down towards him, this can only mean he was reacting to the liter, which moves 98,000 meters per second. More than 6 times slower than Tatsumaki.
So, even though Mob had the edge of being able to attack and defend at the same time, Tatsumaki was a lot quicker than him. So she could switch between attacking and defending fast enough to counter Mob whenever she really needed to.
Still, that alone doesn't mean Mob couldn't have eventually scored a fatal blow. All of this would mean nothing if Tatsumaki couldn't overpower Mob's absorbing shield.
His awesome power of suck.
Right. We know Mob's sucking shield had a limit given how he was forced to transfer absorbed energy into those seeds, growing a massive head of broccoli in an instant. We can actually use this broccoli to get a general idea of Mob's absorbing limits. Broccoli typically requires 143 kilojoules of energy to grow 1/10 of a kilogram's worth. Scaling this giant one to the nearby buildings, we found it to be 21 million times larger than the average broccoli. This means Mob must have transferred enough energy to equate to about 1.6 megatons of TNT.
Yeah, but how about the energy Tatsumaki used to stop and redirect those giant bullets? Those things are huge, solid shells with no explosive component, given how Saitama here was able to crush one without triggering a big kaboom. And they could wipe out a whole city.
We're shown that the shells destroyed most of City A in one shot, and we can see how much damage they dealt with Boros' ship when Tatsumaki turned them around. With this data in mind, the height of Boros' ship and the already calculated bullet speed, we determined the energy she displayed here must have equaled at least 470 gigatons of TNT.
Way more than Mob's big cloud feet, and more than enough to shatter his shield all at once. Tatsumaki was just too damn powerful. And it's not like Mob could absorb giant rocks thrown at him either.
Certainly, Mob's unique powers were generally passive and defensive, whereas Tatsumaki's were better suited to precision strikes and deadly blows. Once Mob's barrier was down, she had plenty of options for wrapping things up, whether it be blocking his psychic power, controlling his chi, or simply crushing him herself.
And her powers weren't dependent on her feelings, so she was always at full strength, no matter what the situation was.
Mob certainly had the skill and ability to put up an incredibly close fight, but Tatsumaki's experience, speed, and power put an end to this prodigious battle.
She just had the experience she needed.
The winner is Tatsumaki. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Death Battle. If you want the battle music for yourself, you can get it by clicking the link down below, and you can check out more of our stuff right over there.
You can't have a death battle season without Deadpool, right?
Hey, Boomstick.
Yeah, Wiz.
I think I might know a way to get rid of Deadpool once and for all.
November 27th. Oh, man. I might actually have to react to that. Even though Deadpool, I'm not going to lie, the whole Ryan Reynolds movie for Deadpool was really fucking good, to be honest with you. But at the same time, it's like, it was alright. It wasn't the best superhero movie ever, but it was alright. But anyways, other than that, yeah, overall thoughts, these opinions, it was an awesome-ass Death Battle like they do. A lot of their animators, I don't know who the fuck they hire for the animators or voice actors. You know what? Good job on you guys. You guys did very fucking well. Like you always do. Thank God. I know I watched a whole bunch of them. I haven't watched in a couple of like months or years, but man, it's kind of good in a way. I'm not going to say I'm back all the way from the show because I do still want to do more reactions to this stuff. I like doing the article session stuff, but sometimes it does get a little bit boring. I'm not gonna lie, it does get a little bit of a boredom sort of thing. I still like talking about anime news, and I like talking about video game news. So it is negative, and there's stuff that is positive to it. It is what it is. But man, sometimes once in a while I do get hyped. It's fun. It's some awesome ass shit. And the Mask though, that's another nostalgia character that Jim Carrey created way back in the 90s. So I might have to react to it, because I remember as a, I don't know, 7, 8, 9-year-old, I think. I don't know when it came out in the 90s. I remember watching it though. And then that was one of like Cameron Diaz's first movies too. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. I don't know. But yeah, that was it. That's the whole thing of Death Battle. That's all I gotta say for now. I know this is a lot more longer video because of what I talked about. Oh! There was something I was gonna talk about later. As far as everything else goes, I don't really remember what it was gonna be about, but as far as anime and all that shit goes, it's pretty wild stuff. With technology and all that stuff, like I was saying before, I'm not gonna lie, if it does come to a point where like technology gets a little bit too crazy, and I'm not gonna say I can't handle it anymore, I could. There's certain little aspects here and there, like I know some people do in real life, not just in the movies, but even in real life, that they believe in that whole singularity thing where people are gonna start merging from robots to like fucking humans. I don't know how many more years from now that's gonna be. It could be when I'm 60, 70, 80, 90-year-old man. Depends on if I'm still alive. By age, I might be dead by that point. I don't know. Hopefully I get to live up to at least 70. If I end up dying by that age when I'm 70, I could say I did feel like I lived a good, fulfilling life. Even though these videos, I don't know if they're still going to be on YouTube. I don't even know if YouTube's even going to be around at that point. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't. I mean, if Google does end up being the first one of those 5 technology companies that end up being this way, that's cool. And that sucks, but it's cool at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, life is gonna be more crazy than it already is, man. And especially with that thing, I know I'm going way off the deep end, but if any of you saw a couple months ago, I know this is something I don't talk about in my videos, but I don't know if it was France or the UK in London, England, one of those 2 countries. The military over there, they decided to make this first like actual real life, like, if any people remember, if you grew up in the early 2000s even, I think it was the 90s or 2000s when it came out, but the Spy Kids, the original movie, Spy Kids 2, like the not Long Island. I think it was called Dead Island or something like that. I'm not sure what the fucking movie was called. Something Island. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Island of Dreams. And many people remember that, the people floating on the magnets. It's almost like that same technology, but differently. The way the dude was floating on this hovercraft thing, it looked fake at first, but it probably is real. I should know this because every time I go to the park around where I live around here in this spot out here in Vegas, sometimes I'll hear, I don't know if any of you guys ever hear it in my videos previously, but there's sometimes a super loud ass fucking like jet like thing, because over here in like Vegas, this place called Nellis Air Force Base. If any people live out here, you know what I'm talking about. What's it called? There's like 2, 3, sometimes there might be 4 of these like military jet planes going around. Sometimes I'll be able to see them when I look up in the air. Sometimes I can't. I think that's called, I'm not sure if it's real or fake. You could laugh at me if you want, but I think it is real in my opinion. There's a thing I think it's called cloaking technology. I know they just talked about this last week again. I don't watch a lot of mainstream media news because I know all this shit that most of this technology that we're not allowed to use for the public, like regular people like you and me, unless you work in the military or you work in the government, you probably already know about this. You just can't talk about it, or some real bad evil stuff is probably going to happen to you, which I can't say on here because I don't want to get my channel taken down. Oh, before anyone asks, oh, you work for the government. No, I don't. Never worked for places like the CIA or FBI or DEA or any of that stuff. I mean, if any of you guys do, I'm not saying that I do your job. I support you. I don't know. I'm not saying it's right to sell drugs and have people die from them. That's a really, really bad thing, in my opinion. I used to see it around when I used to live in a real ghetto, like lower class hood areas all the time. I never did it myself because I know I probably would have been dead by now. Thank God I'm not. But anyways, yeah. Long story short, yeah, cloaking technology, all this stuff, it usually comes a lot from the military first, and then like maybe 3 or 5 years later, it gets, if it's approved by the government and shit like that, then like what's it called? Then it gets passed down to the average Joe. It's going to cost a lot of money at first, and then it'll probably be affordable a few years after that. I don't know. That's just how I see it. You never know. Especially with shit, like, I know I'm going to get way out there, but I always believe maybe time machines may be real, they may not be real. I guarantee you if they are real, it's probably the FBI, CIA that have that sort of technology right now. It's not for the public yet. Maybe one day it'll be either during my lifetime or maybe way after I'm dead, like 300 or 500 more years from now. I don't know. That's all I gotta say for now, and I'm out of here. Links to description box down below, cards on the sign of none. Peace out once again, ladies and gentlemen, bros, women, fanboys, and fangirls, and as always, otakus and dinky kimonos out there, I will see when I see you guys good day, have a good night, wherever you are in the universe out there. Stay tuned for more future content on the channel, including video gaming industry news, anime manga news, internet news, and wraps up the video. Peace out, my talk out, let's come back, I'll see you on the flip side. I gotta calm my voice because it's starting to run out. Deuces. Later.